everyone. I'm recording audio on my phone today because if you haven't noticed, we're in a different location than usual. Ruben and I just closed on our house today, which I have mentioned before. If you're new to my channel for whatever reason, because this isn't usually like what I post, I actually do cross-stitch stuff, but I did a poll a couple weeks ago and people seemed fairly interested in house content, so I thought I would put some videos up about our house because we're really excited about it. So yeah, like I said, we just closed a couple hours ago. So the house is quite empty and quite echoey, so that's why I am attempting to record on my phone. We'll see. But yeah, do you want to say anything?
No.
So I don't want to give too many details about our house because just like for security reasons, I know that like the cross-stitch community is very chill, and I'm sure none of you guys would go out of your way to like find my house, but I'm gonna try not to give too many specifics. But our house is a little over 100 years old, which is really awesome. That was something that we were really looking for when we were buying, is an old house with some character. We had originally thought that we wanted a Victorian home from like the 1880s or 1890s. That's actually what we live in right now. We obviously rent at this time, but the place we currently live was built in like 1888, I think. So we thought we were going to try to find something of a similar age, but we found something from a little bit more recent of an era, but this boy's still old. It feels like a really big upgrade from our apartment.
Yeah.
Our apartment isn't small by any means. It's actually quite big, especially for like the area.
2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah. We rent like the lower half of a house, so it's pretty spacious, but this place is a lot more space than we have right now, so we're really excited to get the cats in here. Yeah, I guess we could talk a little bit about like the buying process.
Okay.
So we started looking for houses in like June, because that's kind of when we started really seriously considering, like, I think we're at a point where we could feasibly, if like these things work out, we could buy a house right now. I don't think we were really seriously looking at that time, but I would send him like Zillow listings like constantly, like, oh, look at this house, oh, look at this house. And I'm absolutely smitten with like every old house. We actually we had a house that was on our street that we currently live on. It was like 3 houses down from us that was for sale for like all of summer. It was a Victorian home. It wasn't super fancy or anything, but it was built in the late 1800s. It had pretty much everything we were looking for.
A cool, weird little hall stairway.
Yeah, it had this weird stairway where it was just like stairs, and then halfway through another set of stairs came to meet it from the side. It was super weird. It needed like a lot of work. I don't think it would have been quite like a total gut job, but we could tell from the listing photos that the person who owned it had like started renovating and then didn't really get very far. So it wouldn't have been livable right away. And it wasn't really priced accordingly, in my opinion. It was really expensive. It was a 5-bedroom house, but like it was still really expensive for the condition. So we kind of eyed that all summer. We jokingly called it our house, even though like we had no financing. We did not put an offer in. We were just like looking at it, you know, longingly. But it didn't really feel like the right time to make a move until, what was it, the end of September, I think, was when that other house went up.
Maybe.
You have no concept of time. I shouldn't ask you. But
I know that this house went up like a week, like a few days after we looked at that.
Don't skip ahead. Okay. So there was another house that went up, and it was definitely in our price range. And we looked at the listing photos and we were like, oh my God, this is our house. Like, we love it. It's perfect. It was green on the outside. This house is not green. We want it to be, but That was like one of our silly little wish list items. Was it'd be cool if we had green siding. But yeah, so we saw this house. We got super excited. We reached out to our landlord, who's actually also a real estate agent, and we said, hey, like, we're interested in this house. What do we need to do to get started? So at that point was when we started the whole like actually house hunting kind of thing. It's when we got our financing, and we went on a showing for that house, and it just ended up not being what we were looking for.
It was really small.
It was really small. It was 1.5 stories, so it was like they had a finished attic space, but it wasn't really finished very well, first of all, and second of all, because it was a finished attic, the walls sloped inward, so it said it was a 1,500 square foot house, but like a lot of that square footage was not really truly usable because of those sloped in roofs. There was also, I believe, no ducting up there, so no heat or AC would make it to the attic, which is like, if you're gonna have a finished attic, you should really have some.
It was also an atrocious blue floor, walls, and ceiling.
It was, and there were holes in the drywall and everything. I feel like that agent had put some, not misleading photos, but strategic photos online to make the house look a little bit nicer than it really was. It wasn't a bad house, it just like wasn't quite what we wanted. So we kind of like went back and forth on if we're gonna make an offer on that house for like a day. We were really planning on it, and then I just got this gut feeling of like, I don't think we're supposed to like put an offer in on this house. And poor Ruben, listening to me go back and forth of like, okay, yeah, we're definitely putting an offer in, and then being like, actually, no, I don't want to. What I said to him was something along the lines of like, I'm thinking of how I would feel if our real estate agent told us our offer was accepted on this house, and I think I would feel upset, which I don't think is the feeling that you're supposed to have. I know that's not the feeling that you're not supposed to have. So we ended up deciding to pass on that house, and we were like, okay, you know, it's fine. We literally just started like truly looking. We'll find something. A couple days later, this house went up on the market.
Pre went up.
Yeah,
right?
It was like a pre-listing. So it showed the address, which is in a neighborhood that we're familiar with, and it had like the written description, but there were no photos yet. So we're sitting there reading the listing, and we're like, oh my God, it's checking off like every single thing on our box, or on every box on our list. I am so excited. We reached out to our agent again, and we got showing set up right away. The photos went up, and we just loved it even more. Same with the showing.
We got a showing set up on the same day that it opened. Mm-hmm. So the first day that it was officially up on the market, they had an open house, and we had our showing scheduled for right after the open house.
Because we couldn't make it to the open house since Ruben had work. So we actually got a private showing, which was so cool. But yeah, in our town, real estate hasn't been so crazy. I know in some places it's still really competitive, but here places have been sitting for maybe 1 to 2 months on the market. But this house got several offers right away. We also made an offer that same night. And the next day, the sellers counter-offered with like a really, really, really high number.
Multiple counter-offer.
Yeah, and it was a multiple counter-offer, so that means it went to everybody who had made an offer, which was, I think, at least 3 of us, possibly 4. And we rejected it because it was like significantly higher than what we were willing to pay, and what we could afford, honestly. So I was really sad. That was, I think, the first Saturday in October. Both of us were kind of like, well, I guess that's it. You know, that sucks. I really thought this was our house, but it is what it is. But the next day, the listing agent contacted our agent and told us that their original accepted offer had actually fallen through, and they wanted us to resubmit. And so we did, and they accepted our offer, which was insane. yeah, this was like a month ago, and I still can't believe that they accepted our offer. We cried. We had a good cry on the couch. Yeah, now we're here a month later on November 10th. So.
Oh, should we talk about the mold thing? I want to tell them around.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
So the sellers had said in the property report?
Real estate condition report. It's basically where the sellers disclose any known issues with the property.
And they said that the property had tested for mold, positive for mold, but they didn't know where it was. Mm-hmm. So we knew that going in, and so when our real estate agent called me when our offer was accepted, she said, "I have some bad news for you." I was like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "You're gonna have to look for mold removal companies." And it took me a second to fully process it. And then I was like, "Oh!"
Yeah. Yeah. And actually with that, we, with our inspector didn't find anything. But because the sellers had disclosed that there was a mold problem in the house, we had to prove to the bank that there wasn't any mold. Otherwise, the bank would consider it not livable and we wouldn't be able to get financing. So we had to then have a second inspection with a mold guy, a specific mold guy. And he came in and did an air test and also a visual inspection. And it actually came back amazing. I think it was, quote, excellent, very low spore count. Yeah. So I don't know, like, what happened with the sellers having issues, because I guess they were having some health problems, and I don't know, like, where their mold tester got this crazy report from, but yeah, we're in the clear. I can tell that the ductwork here needs really, really bad cleaning. It is nasty. I've been here for like, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes and my throat is kind of scratchy. So that's super fun. But yeah, anyway, that was our fun that we've been dealing with for the past month. Is there anything else like important that happened?
Oh yeah, so when you're getting home insurance, one of the really important things that you need to know is the age of your roof. The sellers apparently didn't know the age of the roof, and they took like 2 days to get back to us on it. Mm-hmm. Just within the process between like our real estate agent, their real estate agent, and them, just to say that they didn't know. So then I was on really crunch time to get home insurance before the bank needed it so that they could get the proper paperwork in order so that we would be ready for closing.
Yeah, and of course it's on a Friday, so we're like trying to reach out to our inspector to see if he had any idea how old it was, and he took a little while to get back to us on that too. So that was super fun.
Oh. Very stressful.
It was very stressful, but now we're done and we have keys.
Yeah.
And you got to sign a lot of papers today.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, we would love to show you our house. I'm going to let you guys know that something that's really important to me with like online safety is not sharing the layout of your house. I know that there's a lot of people online that do like full empty house tours where they literally take you from room to room through their house. I've even seen some where they put up like the floor plan for their house, and to me that's just really unsafe. So we're going to be showing you some select locations. Right now we're in the living room. The previous owners put in this very nice like built-in entertainment system type deal, which is really cool. But yeah, we'd like to show you some cool things about our house and try very hard not to dox ourselves. One thing we're not going to show you because it's outside is that this house actually has some really incredible landscaping. Mm-hmm. The previous owners put in a few raised garden beds, and they're actually planted with like herbs and vegetables right now, which is exactly what I wanted to grow. And it's just really cool. I wish I could show you guys, but again, I'm not trying to like dox myself. So we're not going to do all that, but we will go ahead and show you some cool things about this house. So hello, I have Ruben filming. I have no idea what this is going to look like. So hopefully he's doing a good job. No, But like I said, we're going to show you some select locations. So this is going to be my room. You can come in a little bit if you want. This is technically the master. I don't know if I've said this before, but Ruben and I sleep separately because we just both suck at sharing beds. So this is going to be my room. The sellers left like a bunch of stuff. So all the curtains that are in the rooms that you guys might see are not ours. These ones we're going to be keeping. They're actually going to go in Ruben's room. I think he's pretty excited about that. Behind Ruben is the closet for the master, which is a double mirror closet. So that's fun. And then one of our like top features of the house is this nice little double door, which actually leads to another bedroom, which is going to be my office space. It was originally going to be Ruben's room, and then we saw how big the gap was under the doors. And the cats are not allowed in my bedroom at night. And I think having a gap that big, they would just like stick their arms under there and cause a fuckus, as we say. So coming this way, if you see all of our drywall patches, we were in here. Well, I say we, it was just Ruben. We were in here patching last night, but yeah, this is going to be my office space. I'm pretty excited. We're not going to show you outside, but this room has a really nice view out the front side of the house, which is actually where we have a garden, which I was talking about. So that's super exciting. So we also have a clawfoot tub in our main bathroom, which is pretty sick. It's got shims under it right now. I think the floor in here is really bad. But that's really cool. It needs to be cleaned really bad, and we're changing the shower head out. But yeah, it's something we really wanted, and I kind of can't believe that we ended up with a house that has a clawfoot tub. We had been like planning on buying one down the line, but yeah. Also, can you show the lighting fixture? Look at this. It is so ridiculous and horrible. We're getting rid of it. It's so excessive. This is like a 30 square foot bathroom, and it has like 20 light bulbs in it. So this is going to be Ruben's room. It was going to be my office. Like I said, we ended up switching rooms. I actually think this one is just a smidge bigger than the other one. Yeah, it's painted this beautiful pink. We found last night these scratches in the paint, and I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but it's actually silver underneath there. I think I see another fleck here and here. I think there is either glitter paint or metallic paint under this pink, which is like kind of unhinged. I don't know. Yeah, more stuff the sellers left. They left us these little shelves. I'm going to use them for like my vinyl records. These plants are ours. Ruben rescued them from somebody while he was at work. And then the curtains we're giving away to one of my besties. Hello, Misty, if you're watching this. I know you watch my channel sometimes. So last night I was working on the stairs. This is wax, like candle wax. It was like all dripped down the side of this newel post and like just everywhere. I think they literally just had like a loose candle sitting here, and it just like melted everywhere. So I had the pleasure of scraping all that wax off last night. And in that process, we actually found that the woodwork in the home hasn't been sealed. Usually you would put polyurethane over it, but this stain or shellac was just coming up while I was scraping. I was scraping very gently. So that's fine. We were planning on restaining anyway, because it's just, there's a lot of, like if you come over here, if you get pretty close, like a lot of the woodwork is really beaten up. It's kind of like that everywhere. So yeah, that's that. So it is currently like 3:00 in the afternoon. So the light is like a little crazy right now. So sorry about that. But this is our living room. This is where we were filming before. It's actually been like 2 days since we filmed the first part of this video. But these built-ins, we love them. They aren't original. They were added later on. But they're pretty well constructed from what I can tell. We have a lot of like video game consoles and DVDs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty excited to have all this space. They also left their TV mount behind, so we'll have a TV mount. We've got a bunch of space under here. They also left a single 3-pound weight for whatever reason, so that's very nice of them. A couple places in the house have these really cool diamond windows. It's kind of hard to show you guys without like giving away our location. So this is the best look you're gonna get, but these are original as well. So I feel pretty comfortable showing our front door because it's kind of concealed. So this is what our front door looks like. Again, I'm pretty sure it's original. It is missing a couple pieces of this wood trim. We're hoping Ruben's grandpa will be able to help us out because he does woodworking, so it'd be really cool to get those little chunks replaced. Also, if you can see, the stain or shellac or whatever it is nasty on this. So I'm really excited to refinish it. There's also just like a few chips in the glass and stuff like that. Also, a lot of the house has these glass knobs. I don't think they're original and I don't think they're crystal. I'm pretty sure they're just glass, but they're neat nonetheless. So again, one of our favorite parts of the house is the kitchen built-ins. If you can see in the footage, our kitchen isn't huge, but it is like probably about triple or 4 times the counter space that we have at our current place, which is really cool. But these built-ins, oh my God, are so cool. I love them. There's space down here too, and then up here. These need some WD-40. They're really squeaky. But yeah, that's super cool. I love it. And also Ruben's favorite part of the house, I think, is this, which is an original ice box. I think it's super cool. So they actually, at some point, like closed this. Actually, I think this part is like the refrigeration part.
Yes, because the top would be where the ice block goes.
So this is the original fridge. There's like onion skin in there right now. I don't know. I think we're gonna keep cat food in here. And then the top one, I believe this is where they would have gotten the ice delivered. They did kind of like close it up in the back. So we can't actually access this from the outside of the house like we're supposed to be able to. We're also missing a latch here. The wood is really damaged and everything. So this room is gonna be, we've been calling it the study. This is gonna be like Ruben's office, except he doesn't really use like a proper office space like how I do for my sewing stuff and video editing. So I believe it's gonna be more of like a library space, and he's gonna keep his altar and other pagan shit in here. This room doesn't have a door, so the cats are gonna be allowed in here, and it's kind of gonna be a more public space than my office. And also, we have a half bath, so it's kind of in a weird spot in the house, but I am happy to have 2 bathrooms. It does, I don't think you can see in this light, but it does have glitter linoleum. I am very excited to take that away. So that's what we have for you this time. Sorry that we look a hot mess and everything, but we're going to be moving quite soon, and then hopefully I will hopefully be able to bring you guys some more Flosstube stuff soon. I haven't been doing a lot of cross stitching, but I have been doing some. So yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.